Vita, Ayala, and Bernard Channing introduce us to a brand new young team of mutants who, as it turns out, want nothing to do with Krakoa, fighting crime in New York City while dressed as their favorite X-Men, which garner the attention of the real X-Men who want the kids to come and join their mutant paradise. Vita Ayala does a pretty good job introducing us to these new characters, but it's not without its problems. Before I get to that though, I just want to talk about how much I love what we got of these young heroes this issue. From a really exciting action battle at the beginning of the issue to civilian life at school, dealing with mutant hating people and love lives. All that stuff is great here, especially for a first issue. I also really like that we have a group of mutants who don't feel like they need Krakoa to do good, and I like how it seems to be upsetting many of the mutants on Krakoa, upsetting them since someone doesn't want to drink their supposed Kool-Aid. Does a great job keeping that rather sinister overtone that the whole Krakoan thing has had since day one. The problem I do have with the issue is tied to all of the good stuff, however, since the issue is quite big with 35 pages, and a lot of it is dialogue heavy pages that feel like they're just repeating what they are saying and trying to say and feel quite bloated because of it. None more so than the pages with the actual X-Men as they go back and forth on whether to go get the kids or not. It was 4 pages to come to this conclusion that they should just go and talk to the kids. That's like 2 to 3 pages too long in my opinion. Bernard Chang's art is absolutely wonderful on every page, and his action and battle scenes are lovely to look at. His designs for the new Mutant X-Men team were really quite cool, and really familiar, since the kids base all of their costumes on existing X-Men like Cyclops and Gambit and Archangel, but putting new spins on them that make them feel quite modern. Children of the Atom issue 1 was a pretty good introduction to the new team of mutants and their part of the world. While some of the issue feels a little bloated, I did enjoy getting to know this group as well as what the actual X-Men have in store for them in future issues. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10. Children of the Atom issue 1 finds a group of mutant villains called the Hell's Bells robbing an armored truck, knowing that this is taking too long and they need to shoot their way out now. Luckily, Cyclops Lass and her X-Men team arrive, confronting the villains, who think Halloween has come a little early this year. The heroes order them to drop their money bags, but the villains don't listen, making a run for it, but Daycrawler teleports to them, taking all of the women's bags. Cyclops Lass blasts their weapons before they can use them, but one of the villains flies into a rage, smashing the hero in the gut, saying she's tired of being looked down by mutants who got to keep their powers, since they aren't better than them and they won't be stopped from being right again. Gimmick saves her team leader, helping Buddy up, who isn't happy she uses her real name. As the villains fight back, Daycrawler gloats over how bad the villains are at this, angering Cherub since they told him to scatter. Soon one of the villains begins to climb the building to come for Daycrawler, so he calls for Cyclops Lass and Gimmick's help. Cherub is attacked by the fire gun wielding villain who tells him if he wishes to play with grown-ups, then he shall be treated like one. Daycrawler is saved from certain death by Cyclops Lass, who blasts the villain with her concussive beams. Gimmick tells the villain that they are scarier when they had their powers, as Cherub is taken down by one of the villains, and Daycrawler ends up playing tricks on the hooded villain as Marvel Guy comes to the roof of the building to back up his brother. Cyclops Lass brings down the leader by bringing a traffic light down on her head as Cherub blasts one of the other villains with his sonic waves. Marvel Guy hypnotizes the hooded villain, making her fall asleep on the roof as the team wrap up their victory, finding that they did a pretty good job on their first mission. Leaving the villains tied up for the police, the team teleport away. Heading towards an alley, they continue to celebrate as the real X-Men arrive, knowing while they took care of business, they didn't teleport nearly as far as needed for a clean getaway. Daywalker begins talking with Maggot about his gut worms, soon pulled away by his brother, but the mutant knows his worms Eenie and Meanie like him. Pixie says that they managed to keep collateral damage to a minimum this time, as Cherub says that they just wanted to stop people from being hurt. Cyclops Lass compliments the X-Men's work, knowing that they are all fans, as Magma asks if they have indeed heard the call, why haven't they come to Krakoa? The team sheepishly say that they did hear it, but they have lots of things to square away like school. The mutants say they could just implant them all with all the school stuff they need, and there's no need to stay in the humans world. The kids say that they have families and can't just leave yet, and Magma says that no one will force them to come, but when they are ready, they can finally come home home to their family. The cops soon come by and Maggot thinks it's time they all left, and Magma wants to take them to Krakoa through their gate to hide. The kids will disappear thanks to Daycrawler. Marvel Boy thinks that sucked, as at the summer house, Nightcrawler talks with the rest of the Summer family over a game of pool, talking to them about the kid team, knowing that while they are similar to how they were when they started, the kids don't have the support they had, and it worries him, even more so thanks to the tension from humans. Wolverine says that he's going to go get them, but Cyclops says they can't. Scott tells him that Krakoa is open to all mutants, and they need to accept it as their home, and they can't just force people to come to the island, especially children. Jean knows that they have their reasons for staying, but Wolverine wants to get their point across to them and tell them to come home. Cyclops says that it's not that simple, and there are many reasons why they haven't come. Storm knows that they are putting themselves in the public eye now, and they perhaps need to speak with these children, given how the US government is trying to regulate young heroes now. Jean says Xavier is searching for them in Cerebro, but he can't seem to find them. Storm thinks the telepathic one of the team is shielding them, but Kurt knows that if they are blocking Cerebro, then maybe they should respect their right to live in peace. Wolverine reminds him that just before Kurt said they might not be safe out there, but Kurt says that maybe they could just be putting them in more danger by rushing them to the island. Wolverine says that he only knows that they've always helped mutant kids, and why should they stop now? Nightcrawler understands where he's coming from, but knows that they need to respect these children's choices. Logan says that they are being reckless when stopping all of these villains, and with Cerebro not finding them, they can't help them when something goes wrong. Storm agrees with Logan, and the kids are vulnerable, and they need to know they have a way to be resurrected. Jean knows that their activity is centered around New York, so it wouldn't be too hard to find them. Scott doesn't think that that's such a good idea, but Jean says that no one is talking about taking the kids, just wanting to talk to them, something Scott is more than happy to do. Storm knows the kids obviously have a connection to them since they are using costumes similar to theirs, as Wolverine knows that he can find them pretty quick, but Storm says that she'll go alone since she feels really strong about this, and as Jean notes, she is always more formal when she's feeling insecure. Storm says that she didn't just want to cause a disagreement since the kids need them, as Cyclops sinks the last pool ball, winning the game for his team, but Jean asks if Storm wants to play another round with them. At Corbo Preparatory High School, Buddy and Carmen talk about the new Dazzler single as well as getting tickets to a Dazzler event next weekend. Luckily, Carmen has a cousin who works the door so he could get the tickets cheap, despite Dazzler being rather expensive even when getting cheap tickets. Some of the other kids don't think they should be fangirling over Dazzler and maybe pay attention to the world, as one of the guys says that mutants are coming to invade them and their medicine makes humans sick, and Dazzler's concerts fund their agenda. Buddy stands up to them, asking how mutants moving to an island means they're raising an army, and sharing resources with humans means they are suddenly poisoning them. She calls the boy ignorant and a small-minded bigot. The boy thinks that maybe Buddy is one of these mutants and her DNA is corrupted, thinking maybe some tests are in order, but his girlfriend tells him not to touch her since she'll spread her mutant disease to them. The coach yells at them to stop arguing, telling the boy to take a walk. Carmen tells Buddy that arguing won't help since they will just think whatever they want. Buddy knows they don't understand what they are talking about, and spreading lies gets people hurt. Carmen understands that, and after a moment, talk returns to the concert and what they'll be wearing, with Carmen saying she spotted a cool jumpsuit at the local thrift store, explaining what she's going to do with it and improve it with sequins and stripes. Buddy thanks her friend for modding her costume as well, telling her her visor now fits perfectly, and she also noticed the problem with Gabe and his shoulder guards was fixed as well, wondering when Carmen finds time to sleep. As they talk, Buddy becomes distracted by the game, quick to tell Carmen that she is a little sore as Cherub and Marvel Boy continue playing basketball. Carmen knows that there is something more, but Buddy won't say, wanting to just cheer on the game and the guys. The basketball game gets underway, and Buddy thinks about how she would do anything for Carmen and always have, ever since they first met in 2nd grade. She knows she's also been in love with Gabe since the day they met, and she can see that Gabe and Carmen are on another level, and she can't compete with that type of love, and doesn't want to. Benny suddenly loses the ball in the game, and upon diving for it, finds that Cole, one of their friends who was deathly sick, is now back at school. The team celebrate his return as the coach gets the game back on track. Cole immediately proves how skilled he has become, constantly sinking ball after ball in the nets. Gabe tries to stop him, but Cole says that he doesn't want the boy to go easy on him because of before. Gabe tries to stop his friend, but again, Cole dunks the ball as Gabe hits the ground hard. Cole asks if he still thinks he's weaker now as he helps his friend up, apologizing for not knowing his own strength. Benny comes to see if his friend is okay, but Gabe just says he's good. Later that night, Buddy packs up her costume and things, kissing her sleeping father goodbye as she meets her friends outside. The group ride the subway through the city until they reach Coney Island, where under the wharf they find the Krakoan gate. Suiting up, the team get ready to head through to the gate and to Krakoa for the first time, but upon stepping in, they find that nothing happens, and the team goes straight through the gateway, finding that they are unable to access Krakoa.